of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
You know, I think we're coming to a point in time where the veil of the jinn is going to be taken off.
Yeah.
There's so much hell going on that television, entertainment, sports, and what have you, is not going to be enough to keep the people's mind away from what's actually happening, because that's what's been going down. They letting the black man rise, so-called, giving their illusions of power, making certain ones rich, letting certain ones through the door. Whether they coming through the door with all that crazy foolishness, or they coming through the door with intellectuality, but they letting them rise and letting the world see, okay, the black man on the rise. But it's a certain number, small number of them, which supposedly represents the whole. Now, with this recession that's jumping off, see, if they didn't have to tell us about it, they wouldn't tell us about it.
Right.
But see, a few years ago, they started something with unemployment. You don't have to go down unemployment, stand in line so much. So nowadays, now you internet, telephone, so many things, through the mail service and what have you, because they don't want you to see how many people are out of work.
Right.
But you think about all these companies closing and dropping off 900 people here, 1,500 people there, right in the area, And you think about even in the local government dropping off all them people.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they hiring certain ones of them.
Small groups
That's making a lot of money, but they look at all the people that's being laid off. So like eventually, when there's nothing on the table, and the children is crying to eat, and you got, strangers want to get in your house because they see smoke going up in your chimney, and that means something cooking.
Yeah.
Huh? Then that veil gonna come off. It's like, well, what's happening? And we've been talking about that for a long time, for over a decade, about this day.
I remember the old days with the unemployment lines. Whenever things got tight, and you would tell, you could see the long lines going up the block.
Yeah.
You don't see them anymore. You're right.
Yeah.
So things subconsciously must be getting better.
They're about to put everybody on the soup line.
Yes.
Yeah,
we talk about the dollar stores, or is that another?
That's another ploy.
Yeah.
See, it's like we spoke about that before, about the dollar stores. They got dollar stores, 99-cent stores going up everywhere. Why is that? Because there's things that people need.
Right.
So people figure, instead of looking at the fact that they don't have, they say, hey, there's a bargain store. Let's run get the bargain. Where these things come from before that you couldn't buy them for that price. So where they come from all of a sudden? They get part of the illusion, man. They got to put them up in there and let these people continue to live.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's a heavy happening.
It's a heavy happening, it's heavy happening, and the veil coming off.
And it's sad. It's really sad. I've been speaking for 29 years now?
29 years, right.
And if I was Caucasian, I'd be blue in the face.
Right.
You understand? Because you can't turn black to blue.
Born blue black.
Right.
But man, trying to get this message across, man, and then you have with what's going down, you got other types of things that's happening where they're allowing so many things to go down to take the people's attention off of what's happening. Yeah. They even revealing the fact that there's aliens, man.
Yeah.
And they're having a hard time because they convince so many people that to say that there's aliens, you're crazy.
Right.
Airplane pilots, man, would lose their jobs. They would, the government would label them. And I know, as a matter of fact, when I was in the military and the Air Force back in 1971, they were chasing alien ships. I worked as a command post control and technicians. You understand? Specialist. And I knew what was going down. You know, I had to know what was going down. They was chasing them down in Texas, man. You know, when Elijah used to speak about them back in the '70s, man, they was up. They was up in this vicinity. You know, but people, it's just like watching a game, a basketball game or a football game on television. You watching what's actually going down, right? You watching what's going down. But the commentator is saying something else.
Yeah.
You watching and he's talking, saying, acting as though what you watching is not happening. And you come away and you hear people talking about the game and you hear them talking about what the commentator was talking about. Yeah. And you say, wait, did you see the game? Yeah, I seen the game and I remember the guy did this. No, that didn't happen. The commentator said that, but this is what happened. You see? So, you know, it's so many things that's being put up to draw the people's attention away from what's going down. Now they got a black man, so-called black man, you know, mixed man, mixed race man, and a mixed race woman running for president. Yeah. So that gives the lower level people hope, man. Yeah. Okay, if they get in, then we really gonna get something going on. Not knowing that government is still another nation. You got the United States government and you got the United States populace. Right. And you got the secret government that's above the United States government. And you got the jinn that's above them. Right. You see? So you got like 4 governments right off the bat. Four communities right off the bat that's in this, that there's a mix in this country. You know?
It's like the puppeteers. You see the puppet masters and all the players on the bottom of that. And it's funny because as we look at things going on now, minds are being turned away. When I look at the things on the news now, the media they have the athletes, now they got rappers and singers look on the steroids now. I said, look at this. Taking people's away, whose baby's born now. Doing really, you know, some people that's important because they live the lives of illusion through the eyes of the stars. I can be like, I live, like they know them personally. Yeah. But our people are mainly victimized of that.
What it is they raise these people up as part of the illusion, as part of the veil. They raise the athletes and the entertainers up. And now it's gotten critical. What else they gonna do? They can't raise all the people. Right. You see? And they can't raise these people up for real. Like people be talking about, this is mine, I bought it, that's mine, I bought it. You know, I'm successful, I'm powerful, I'm this, I'm that. But each one of them has been let through the door by someone that's more powerful and that's in control. Right. So how much success do you really have? The success that someone give you to service their cause. Right. You see? Yeah. And as long as they allow you to live in that, if you had that illusion, you think, and that's why so many young brothers and sisters get in trouble. You know, like look at that lady, the athlete, the runner.
Marion Jones.
Marion Jones. Right. Poor girl. You know, she's just another victim. I could name so many of them in boxing, basketball, so many of them through the years, man. They gonna take these people out of the ghetto. They know they uneducated, and when they take them, and when I say uneducated, I'm talking about universal education. Right. You know, I'm talking about spiritual, divine education. Right. You know, knowing about man for real. Yes. You know, and these people go up there and they just follow suit. You see, somebody introduced something so you could be great, you could be this, and then they look at the so-called stars and they say, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah. Then they do, boom, they do it. Now it's time to get rid of them. Right. All right, so they gonna come down on them. What is government doing inside of athletics now? What's government doing in there? Things of that nation. They're supposed to be running the nation, right? Right. What are they doing in there?
Is that their concern? Why is that? That's what
make it a big concern. Yeah.
You know, and the sad part about it is, if they could watch, like they say, they could see a dime from outer space by a satellite, but they can't see a big shipment of drugs coming in. I know. Right on Earth. They let all this stuff in, but they get who they want to get. Now that they done gone from the athletes, now they going to the entertainers because these entertainers is big, and they're gods to some people.
Some of those drugs, they said it was for anti-aging purposes. You know, they like the H.A.D, the human growth hormone.
Yeah, it's a steroid.
That's used to keep the people young looking. So that fits right into their business.
Oh
just like the athletes needing that
oh
stuff.
yeah. And even though they will penalize you for that, penalizing people for that, they still allowing FDA still allowing people to use that into the food stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they ain't telling you, but they allowing it.
Just come in this evening, this program. They talked about the cloning of the beef. Talking about it's going to be 10 years before they actually put it, but people know they're already doing it.
They doing it.
They just letting the people know that the beef and the chicken that you've been eating all the time is cloned meat. I'm like, okay. On Channel 7 News this evening, I was like, wow. Look how
I always tell you that if they put it in the movies, it's beyond what they put in the movies. They just preparing the people for it.
Okay.
Right.
You know, see, people find it real hard to accept them cloning a human being. But
Right.
you know, and they just can't get that one off yet. You understand? But if they cloning cattle and cloning rats and cloning other animals, other beings, you telling me they ain't cloned some human being yet?
You know,
we talking about the devil, man.
Right.
We talking about the jinn. We talking about the doers of evil. We talking
Yes.
about people who don't ever want to die.
Right.
People who don't ever want to face judgment. People who know the truth, but worship the untruth.
Right.
Huh?
Yes.
Just going back a little bit, let's go back with Obama. Obama is an original African American.
Yes, he is an African American. He's
And
an
see,
African and an American.
His father was African, who never, to my understanding, lived and died in Africa. His mother is Caucasian, who was born and raised in this country, got with his father in Africa, conceived and had this child, Obama.
You saying his father never lived in America.
Right.
But he lived and died in Africa. Okay.
Correct. To my understanding. So that makes Senator Obama
And
a true African American.
Yeah.
And our people is always looking for hope in something, but they don't understand that all this political election and primary, all this is just a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
Yeah.
If they will realize that the djinn is a lover of chess, this is all just a game.
It's like a game.
You
of
know,
chess.
they're only going to let this Obama character in if they want to let him in, and it will be for their benefit.
If they need him,
Right.
for the illusion.
It will not be to
Like-
benefit African American people.
Like chess, they're already 3 moves ahead.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
this
It will
particular
not
move,
be for that. If they let Hillary Clinton in, it will not be to benefit us. If they will study their history, they will see that there has never been a president. Never. They think Clinton did a lot, but now they see that Clinton didn't do much of
they
anything.
went mad with Clinton. They started saying Clinton was a black man.
Because he
went
could play the
crazy.
sax and he smoked marijuana.
Now he live in
Crazy.
Harlem, so
We just
To further the illusion.
Nice.
we just
solution,
take
yeah.
any and everybody, just like Obama. I can't say Obama is of me. He's more of them Caucasian people and them people in Africa than he is of me.
No, he's not of the people of the so-called African Americans here, the Negroes,
Right.
colored people.
Because
you know.
we have been through all
Black man,
kinds of rinses in the wash.
Yeah, he's not.
You understand what I'm saying?
The same with Colin Powell. These other people they put up, you know. Same with Farrakhan too, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of leaders that we have that's not really of us, but they had that dark skin. And when I say of us, I'm talking about of the gene pool of that actually lived and suffered in here, you know,
Right.
and has been put behind and kept behind all the time,
Right.
you know, and has been systematically destroyed and given retardation of the mind.
yeah.
Right.
You know, because that's what our people have, retardation. You know, retardation for us is a universal thing. You know, and the reason I say that is because like you got guys who call themselves Muslim today. but they say that there's a supreme being who is a man. Saying he is a God, he created the universe and created them and created himself.
Yeah.
Right.
And saying that the true supreme being, the unseen, is a spook. And we shouldn't worship spooks. And we should worship things that we can see. That's idol worshiping. They call themselves Muslims and they read from the Bible and they defame the Holy Quran. You see? So this is part of that confusion, that part of that retardation. You know, when Elijah Muhammad came and did the things he did and said the things he said, he had permission and he was contracted from the Lord Most High to do those things.
Yes, sir.
It was a mystic that came to him, a Sufi, a mystic, one who had communicated, one who was enlightened, who had communicated with the unseen. And he gave him information so he can give information to the lowly people in this society amongst the so-called African Americans, so that they could rise to the level that they rose to. Now they don't want to mention this man's name, Elijah Muhammad's name, but see, Elijah Muhammad made the Caucasian turn to Martin Luther King and say, hey, we got to take somebody, take them.
Yeah.
Because historically, the jinn, the Caucasian, has never allowed a peaceful people to live. Every nation they go to, when them people have peace, just like they got this United States of America, from a very peaceful people who saved their lives. So they annihilated them. So since you had Elijah Muhammad on one side, they had to counteract Elijah with Malcolm.
With Martin.
With Martin, rather. You understand? And they didn't want the world to know that Martin had got fed up and was talking to Elijah about turning to that way.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Even though his family won't tell it. They're afraid because they have that retarded mentality. And when I say retarded, I mean they at a point where they can't grow beyond the fear factor, the fear level that they have.
Yes.
You see, if you are a true man in mind, if you have the balance, you know, which these brothers I heard speaking about mathematical thinking, I know they, you know, people need to explain what they're talking about. But with the mathematical thinking, is just putting things in a balance.
Right.
You know, knowing when to say, what to say, and how to say it, and when to act and how to act and what to act upon at the right time in your situations of life.
Yes, sir.
You understand? If we have those things, then that will make us free. You see? So, and if we become free, then we go rise above that game of the political system.
Right.
You see? So we become a threat to the organizations that's politicizing, and this game, this is a magnificent game that the jinn has developed with politics to make you think that it's a different people that's being elected every 4 years. When they all the same people. You understand? They all the same people playing the same game. It's like the good cop, bad cop syndrome. All the Republicans are so bad they don't like black. Well, but the Democrats. But what have we ever got? Have they ever offered us, have they ever given our people freedom? And some people say, hey, you can't ask for freedom. Go take freedom. How you gonna take freedom? You locked up in the jail. They got the guards around you. And if you go out or get out of bounds, they gonna shoot you and kill you. You understand? So how you gonna get out? The only way you gonna get out is by true education. The true success comes in spirituality. The true success comes into rationality. The true success comes into reasonableness. You understand? And reasoning and realization of your highest self. Yes. And that's something they can't afford to give us. Right. That's why you get homosexuals as ministers and priests. Since Allah, A.H.A.D, Amen, has written about it, had John write about it in Revelation about what was going to be going down with the Catholics today, the priests and what have you. Now they open the door and let all the rest of them in and make laws and raise them up so this stuff will be stomped out. Yeah. You see? But now we trying to make them a race of people. Yes. Yeah. And raise that race of people over the so-called African Americans. Yeah. Right off the bat.
Right on, yeah.
The first sign I seen of that when they like in their struggle to the civil rights struggle. I said, wait a minute. That's the first sign. Then the second sign, many of the people that are in the positions of so-called power in the political circle is of their camp.
Right.
So again, so now they're implementing laws and writing laws so they can benefit their group of people. And I'm saying, okay, now who don't see the game? And like Holy Apostle was saying, that the game of the people, they've been elected every 4 years, the program that's set, it won't change.
Right.
So no matter who gets in office, Obama, whoever they put in office, that program,
They got to get with
policy,
that program.
they got to stick with that.
They got to get
Even
with that
with
program.
regards to that, I'm looking in the precursor to the Divine Book of Revelation, the public word, the precursor,
Oh, yeah.
Divine Book, the description of the two parties talks about like when the Republican Party, for example, might get into office, they affect the economy. Things get, heated up.
Yeah.
Heated up for them, but actually it becomes a problem for the poor people and the wealthy and wealthy. And then when it becomes too hot for the poor, for the working class people and the poor people, then it's time for a Democrat to give the illusion of things being cooled down a bit.
Right.
And that's to keep control. And then the Republicans always start war and put that war in the hands of the Democrats. And then and their role is, well, we trying to fix it, but they get the blame. Reagan, they've made him a god amongst presidents. How that happened? And he was an actor. How that happened?
Right.
Because he went and he spent all their money. And made it so they could spend all the money and made the rich man richer. That's why they honor him and raise him so high. And they the only ones raising him up like the people be like, Reagan, what's the big deal about Reagan? What did he do?
He left two
all
things.
I can remember about Reagan is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
He couldn't remember nothing.
He did leave two things though. He left a term called Reaganomics and voodoo economics. The magic of making the rich wealthy and making the poor poor.
Voodoo,
And that's what they called it.
By the guy that became the coin, by the guy
Coin
that became his vice president. Right.
Bush.
Voodoo
The
economics.
Bush guy. That's
Yeah,
right. The
character.
father, now the son is in there. And now they doing voodoo again.
And I wonder if they're going to take the presidency again. They took it twice.
Twice.
I wonder if they're going to take it again. Because, see, the people's eyes is covered, man. When they going to see?
Yeah.
You know? They really think their votes matter. They took Florida off, then they went and took Ohio off. And if they have to take somebody else off for that cause, they're going to take them off. And then the Democrat who was fighting like Gore, you see how quiet he became?
Oh, yeah.
He disappeared. And he knew what happened. That was his time to get up
Right.
and say,
Right.
hey,
Yeah, they were
this is
long
not
before
right.
time.
Well, they gave him a little job dealing with the environment and the old.
Oh, yeah, he's right.
Oh, yeah, that's after
what
he was quiet.
Yeah, he was a good boy.
He had to, you know.
Prove that he was a loyal.
Right.
boy.
Yeah.
He was a
had
good
to
boy,
go
and they
serve.
rewarded him.
Right.
You know, but getting down to something even closer to home, I was, looking at a situation this week with the city of Newark. Now, the mayor has laid off over 1,000
people,
employees within the city of Newark. And I said, our people really have to sit and think, because I would love to see what they're going to do when this man runs for re-election. They have to sit and think, okay, this is his profile. I laid off over 1,400 people in the city of Newark, but here's the arena. And we're hiring so many people at arena. Okay, you laid off people that was making a decent salary, what I call decent for poor black people is 20, 25,000, 30,000. I say that because they don't allot black people within the city municipal areas
So much money.
to make so much money.
Right.
But now you could work at the arena if Booker laid you off and make 10,000 or 15,000. As long as the event is going on, you can make, work 4 hours, make $32 that night. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, people, he's saying he opening up job opportunities. Job opportunities. That's not job opportunity.
What about the people that he's hiring that's making like 4 or 5 times the
that.
salary
but then,
of those people that's
then he has no one of African American is qualified to counsel him in these different positions. And now his council people is asking him about
From
these
outside the
people.
community
He
now,
having all these people that's
Yeah.
making hundreds of thousands of dollars to see that this go right and that go right. But yet it's still
right for who though?
right for him. yet and
Right
still.
for him and them.
So people don't
It's
realize.
right for him. They
Right.
making it right for him,
Yeah.
but he got to make it right for certain other people. Because see, it's like this here. When they start turning streets into highways,
Yeah.
when they start spending billions of dollars on the roads for people to come in and go out, you know that it's not being made right for the people that's here.
Right.
And so you got people here that can't, like I said, a retardation system of retardation. They can't see beyond. You understand? They think that, like they torn down brick towers.
Yeah.
Instead of governing that building and making sure that those things stayed right throughout the years, they tear them down. They're gonna put up a few townhouses. They may put some key people who had the voices amongst all those people that they got put out to let them get an apartment or a home up in there so they can come and say, yeah, he kept his word. But what about the thousands, tens of thousands of others?
Right, and that's the thing that they're not looking at.
No.
If he's laying off 1,400 mostly African American people, then he's offering them salaries that don't allow them to live in the city of Newark. Because now you go and try to get an apartment in the city of Newark for 1 to 2 bedrooms, you're going to pay over $1,000. So if you're making $8 an hour at Prudential Center, you know you can't afford that rent.
Right.
So my whole thing is, let's look at the big picture, because when it's over, it's over. Let's look at the big picture. He's allowing a whole bunch of people to come into the city. You got the Portuguese constantly building up in the East wards, right? He has loyalty in the North ward from the Hispanic, because he ain't touching them yet.
Right.
He's basically closing down the housing authority where mostly African American people live.
Right.
And he's building houses that he knows they cannot afford. So if he's doing all this, when it's time for him to vote, and then he put Bloomfield campus in Newark, okay? Then they have expanded on NJIT. These is all citizens of Newark.
And it's not Booker doing it. It's the gen that's
It's
guiding
the gen
Booker
that's
to
guiding
do
it,
this.
right? But he's the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So all this is going on. So come election time, they're going to make sure that the percentage of African American that could vote
It's not available.
is not available.
Yeah.
They're not available. And believe you me, as soon as they can figure out a way to get rid of the senior citizen building, they will
Get
too.
rid of that.
And if our people know, like I know, they need to stop eating that government cheese, getting that government powdered milk, getting that government peanut butter. I don't trust the government.
they taking
The
us out.
government never had no care for us. If they giving us something free, you need to investigate.
Yeah.
See, the thing is,
real.
because African American people refuse to follow that which the Lord sent down. I was thinking about this on my way to the show today. We have ministers that's up here preaching to the people every Sunday, but they're learning how to minister from a Caucasian school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? Anybody can read the Bible. You can read the Bible, and the Lord said, I say to you, do not partake of swine. And the Lord said, do not partake of swine, but he allowed his only son to die and make everything pure. That's okay for us. Why is that okay?
You don't have to
Why
explain
we're
anymore.
not thinking
You
the
don't say
ministers
no more,
are
right?
not divinely guided.
Right.
They have gone to school and went to the master school to learn how to do the master work by brainwashing you.
Right.
You can open up that book. You don't need that minister and his and the Lord. You don't need that. You can open up that Bible yourself and
cut
read.
across the board.
And then
And that minister can
Oh,
instruct them to
yeah,
read that
it
Bible.
cuts across the board. That's
Right.
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
And then
Right.
if you take heed yourself, the Lord said in the Bible, do not partake of swine. Right? Now, you say you a believer in that which was sent down in that Bible. But then when you get 60 years old, the doctor tells you, stop eating that pork. Then you stop. But why didn't you stop when you read that in your Bible?
Right.
If Jesus made everything pure, then what the hell is going on out here?
Where are these trichina worms coming from? And
Yeah.
Well, if everything is pure, and this is what I thought about, if everything is pure, well, we don't see the purification.
Right.
A woman that's a virgin and goes to the altar to get married in that white dress is not pure.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right?